Hello, I'm Dawn. Welcome to Cyprus and to my channel. Welcome back to my Hugelkulture area and my Ruth Stout main beds. So we'll start up this end, look back at my seed planning and planting video to see what I expected to plant here. So here we have yellow melons. I have put covers on some of them because they are getting eaten. But this is yellow melons and a few watermelons. They're still rather small to be planted out, but I needed to get rid of them. And there were a couple of buds on these. Second bed, nothing for the minute. Still haven't finished sowing everything yet this year. Broccoli has always been here with some onions in between to help ward off butterflies. And the onions in between are doing rather well. The next bed is now onions. When I planted out my onions, I realised some were actually leeks. So when I say onions, you will sometimes see leeks involved. But that's fine, doesn't matter. The next hugel was where I grew the Hugel potatoes. And as you can see, I've just built that up with our grass cuttings and other garden debris. So I will rest that bed this year. You can grow cabbage and leek after potatoes in the same bed. Excuse the donkey in the background, it's not mine. You hear the donkey? Someone does not come to feed it. Hear it. And this next bed, nothing right now. We'll update you in the next video if I put anything in these. This is the start of the next potatoes. Each stick is a potato. I have planted 3 potatoes here. At the minute, only 3 potatoes. And then this bed I actually have just planted early this morning. This is asparagus, and I soaked the seeds overnight for the asparagus as directed. So I've done a few seeds here of asparagus. Let's see how they do there. They like drained soil, so I think that might be a good thing. Now we go past the tree, which has been identified. I'll do another video on that because it's quite a story. So we will go past to mostly Ruth beds here. And most of this is from the indoor greenhouse. So this bed is all from the indoor greenhouse. This is all peppers. And these really doing well here. I think these have settled now. It's a bit touch and go when I first put things out, but I needed to get them here. I normally like to just sow straight into the ground with the seeds in the hugels and the Ruth. But because I was experimenting with the indoor greenhouse this year, obviously I had a lot of plants that just needed to go out. This is probably the best one in this bed, but there's a few with multiple leaves. So I can never have too many peppers, as you will see. This next bed is tomato. These are still quite small, but they take a little while, but then they go ridiculously wild. My garden out of control. These are quite newly planted here. So These are mostly, my main tomatoes are cherry tomatoes and plum tomatoes because that's what I already had seeds for. But I have got new tomatoes, different varieties elsewhere, which I'll tell you when we get to those in other videos. This bed I haven't grown in this year, but this I always keep this for chili. So now we go on to, I'm pretty sure this one is a leek. Just looking at the base of it. So leeks and onions. These are very substantial. These are all ones that I split. So this whole bed and the next one are onions from elsewhere, and leeks obviously, that I split. So these are divided onions, and I do have a video on that if you want to know about that. You just keep multiplying and multiplying your onions and leeks. You never need to buy any again. Plus, you can leave some to have their head, and they will produce more seeds as well if you don't want to wait to split onions and leeks, or if you want to actually use more for eating. So we're getting a few heads in this bed, which I will leave. This bed had, I think, 2 Mexican chilies in and a pepper in the middle. So obviously it made sense. I had so many peppers to put out that this was an original, but the rest are new down this stream. So I had so many peppers, it's made sense to pop them here. These have all settled now, which is good news. Don't need to water these areas anymore. I give them water before I plant and then when I plant. I was thinking, what on earth is this bed? What's going on here? I did it yesterday, I'd forgotten. So this is chard. This is from Janderra channel, this chard. And this is white silver, the variety here. So I thought they might like here. Again, it needs to be kept moist, which a Ruth bed is good for that, so I'll give that a go there. This bed, nothing right this second, and this was my big huge wild tomato area, and so I just leave all the tomatoes to drop and they reproduce themselves. So this is a proper working Hugel bed here. I don't add anything to it and things should come up. The only thing I might do is if they cluster too much, then obviously I'll move them around the bed, but they shouldn't do, because when the tomatoes drop I do spread those out and try and split the seeds. So this is one tomato plant from last year, still a little yellowing, but I'm sure it will do something. We've always had broccoli growing on this patch with some onions in between, and these broccoli has been left to go to seed, and I will collect the seeds. And then I had a last bed which I always said I wasn't sure if I was going to grow in it or use it for compost. Well, as you can see, I've piled it all up with our mowed grass, and it's going to become a growing bed, but obviously I need to leave it to decompose some, because I don't actually add any compost or anything to this. All my hugels are just decomposed things from the garden. And the reason we're growing in this is because Mike has now made me 2 compost areas here, which is our mown grass and any leaves or twigs or branches. And as you can see in another video, we removed the gate at the end of this driveway because we never use it, hence why I built the hugels here, plus it was a low level of the garden, so it was perfect for catching the rain. And so to finish them off, Mike has made me 2 pallet wood compost areas. And that's my Hugel and Ruth Stout main beds update. Until next time, Meraki.